Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Peterson. Today we're going to be working on the food mishap articles from ReadWorks. I hope that you've already had a chance to read the articles. If you haven't, you should stop the video and read them now. I do suggest that you read the questions first because it helps you focus where you want, where you could find answers, and you can take notes as you read. So anyways, I'm assuming that you've already done that. So I'm going to go back to the questions, and I'm scrolling through both articles right now until I find the questions. And our first question is, one thing Fletcher wants on his grilled cheese sandwich is cinnamon. What else does he want on it? Now I made a notation here that I want you to use part of the question as your answer. If you have not read the article, you should go back and find it now. And notice that this comes from the article, Let's Make Dinner. So I'm going to scroll back and I'm going to look for what he wanted on his sandwich in addition to cinnamon. And if I go back, I see down here, it says, what do you want on your grilled cheese? Cinnamon and candy corn. So that is where we find the answer for our first question. So I'm putting a note there that number one, so I could go back in the text and find that. And now I'm going to use PQ to answer this question. So I'm going to state the words Fletcher, because that tells me who this sentence is about, because it refers to the he right here. What else does he want on it? So I'm going to say Fletcher also wants candy corn on his grilled cheese. Make sure I put a punctuation mark showing that I'm at the end of the sentence. So now I have a nice complete sentence that used part of the question to answer it, and I looked through the text and found exactly what I needed for my answer. Number two is asking for a rates response. So Mr. Peterson was really nice and included a poster here of what rates is. I know that's kind of hard to see, but he also, if you're watching this video, made this page for us of the posters that we have in our classroom. So it's reminding you of our step-up colors, where there's green and yellow and red and then green again. So we have our topic sentence, we have our reasons, details, and facts, we have our evidence to explain our E, the red, to explain the evidence, and we also tie up our writing with a summary. So that's there in case you have forgotten. And I was looking here, there is not much space to answer the questions here. So this is where you're going to want to get a piece of notebook paper, or if you're typing this online, you could do that as well. So it says, Fletcher has fun assembling his grilled cheese sandwich. Support this conclusion with evidence from the story. So I needed to go back and look at my story to see where he was having fun. And if I go back here, hopefully you've already found it and you marked it. And I am noticing in this paragraph here that he snuck a few pieces of candy corn while Clara wasn't looking and smiled. Oh, he's enjoying it. This was going to be amazing. So he's very excited about what he's cooking. So I think that is my evidence right here for number two. So I'm going to use that to help me construct my response. So like I said, this is not very much space for number two. So I'm going to put my answer on notebook paper. So I'm going to a new page. I'm labeling it number two. And I'm going to write I'm going to combined the R and the A together for this one. So I'm going to say Fletcher had fun assembling his grilled cheese sandwich. And again, I'm just getting that straight from the question. So that's my R and my A combined. Now I'm going to give my text-based evidence. And this time I'm actually going to use a quote. That's something that I would like all fourth graders to start doing. It's definitely a fifth grade skill, and there's no reason why you shouldn't, as a fourth grader, start quoting the text. So I'm going to say, the story states, so now I'm on my yellow. The story states, comma, and now I'm going to quote directly from the story. So if I go back and look, he snuck a few pieces of candy corn while Clara wasn't looking and smiled. This was going to be amazing. So I'm going to add that sentence exactly like it looks onto my rates response here. So the story states, and now I'm quoting, so I have to put quotation marks around it. Oh, my G's hanging out there, so I'm going to slide it in a little bit. Capital H. He snuck a few pieces of candy corn while Clara wasn't looking and smiled. Period. This was going to be amazing. And I'm ending my quote right there. Those are the author's exact words. That's why they have to be in quotes. So if I were using my step-up colors, let me find my highlighter here. If I am using my step-up colors, this first sentence, Fletcher had fun assembling his grilled cheese sandwich. That is where I'm doing the restating the prompt and answering the question. In this case, it's combined. And then I give my text-based evidence. So that's the T. So the story states he snuck a few pieces of candy corn while Clara wasn't looking and smiled. This was going to be amazing. Okay, now my job is to explain the evidence. So the important part, the reds. So I'm going to say, this shows that Fletcher was pretty excited to try his creation. Okay, and because that is explaining, that needs to be highlighted with red. In this case, I think it's going to look kind of pink. Yeah, it's going to look pink. Okay, now I'm ready to wrap up my writing. I need to do it with a conclusion. And so I'm going to write clearly. He had fun assembling his sandwich. Okay, and for those of you that need the highlighting colors, we are back to green because it's wrapping up our writing. It reminds us of our topic sentence. And there we go. So there's Wright's response for number 2.